السلام حياة قد جاء في القرآن أن السلام.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Itrend on ITV. I'm your host, Zahira Bam Ismail. It's always wonderful to share my Thursday mornings with all of you, and I think that what the inspiration we get from you is far more than what we could ever share with you. So we take glimpses of it out from our social media pages, out from our community, to give you not just inspiration but also motivation. During this month of November, in addition to everything happening with exams, with year-end preparation, we also have to be very cognizant of the fact that it is Diabetes Awareness Month as well as pH Awareness Month, two topics that are very important, not only in our community, but on a general basis, things that we need to make ourselves very aware of and to ensure that we participate in bringing awareness into our community and support for the people that are going through it as well. On many of the other shows on ITV, you will see many of these topics being highlighted through the process of this month. Today in our studio with us, we have Fatima Bulbulia from Sweet Splendor. Last week when we were discussing creative gifts and we were talking about things that we could do, that our children could make, Zakia Mangal was in studio with us and we absolutely enjoyed the ideas that she gave us. But we had a lot of feedback also from people asking what could they do for as teacher-end gifts, year-end gifts and teacher appreciation gifts. So when we found Fatima Bulbulia on Instagram, we knew she was the right person to come in and inspire us. Fatima, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to the studio. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Fatima, tell us a little bit about Sweet Splendor.
Well, Sweet Splendor is a little home-based business of mine. Basically, what we would love to do for our clientele is to beautifully prepare fashion with love and present with elegance.
I love that. That's such a beautiful way to say it, and I think your professionalism comes out in everything that you do. When did you start Sweet Splendor?
Well, Zara, it all began as a passion and flair for hosting family and friends over and for preparing little platters of sweet indulgence to take to every invite. And then friends and family somehow or the other persuaded me, to share my passion by making what I love.
Has this something that you've always been enjoying doing? Has creativity always been a part of who you are?
Look, Zara, my creativity comes back from my background because I draw my inspiration from my mum, who's panache not only for cooking and baking, but she has such a creative eye for detail and a warm devotion to hosting friends and family. So I draw a lot of inspiration from her as well. And I have a few gifting boutiques that are overseas that I am truly inspired by.
Alhamdulillah. But that's the thing about yours that stands out for me. It's not just gifting, it's not just putting things together, but the fact that you also make the items that are in your gifts.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. What I'd like to do is, look, Zaira, anybody that receives a gift, they say happiness is in receiving and in gifting. So from my side, personally, what I'd like to do is that if I'm presenting a gift to somebody, I'd always like to add something that's edible to the gift. It just shows that you've taken out more time to present it to your person that is receiving the gift, and for them to appreciate it more, because it's not just a gift, it's something that you've personally touched with love.
And for me, I think that's a huge thing. We always talk about gifting being one aspect of it, but the fact that it's beautifully packaged, beautifully presented, you can see the time taken into putting that gift and making it the perfect package. I think everybody wants to be a recipient of that.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Look, you know what? Every client's needs and wants are different, and we work according to obviously your budget, what you require in terms of a female, in terms of a male. So we always feel that the interaction from the clientele is best before we set forth on doing the gift itself.
Where do you draw inspiration from? Because it's so difficult to say this is what I think would be able to go well together, and to make it also unique, make it your own, because that's the one thing that I love about your gifting, is that while there are elements that you can see has inspiration from here or there, it is entirely a unique product when it comes to the table because you've made it your own.
Zara, well, with the edible gifting that we've included with the gifts that we have, what I'd like to do is, basically it's homemade. Everything is homemade. how do I say, it's fashion. The thing is that we try to present attention to detail, you know, to create a new design element for our clientele. So in terms of that, and like I said, inspiration comes, well, most of my inspiration comes from the gifting boutiques that are in the Middle East and Australia as well.
Fantastic. How do you manage to balance it all? To balance your family, to balance this? Because this is obviously a job, not a job that you're going out of your home at 8 to 5. This is something that I'm assuming just carries on through day and night, all the time.
Yes.
How do you manage to balance family, your commitments, your community, your friends, and a business?
Look, Zaira, a home-based business is always a bit difficult to run because you have your home and you have your business as well. I love my family. I love my family time. I also enjoy preparing my things. So what I do is I try to work in a way where I'm able to give myself off in every way.
Yeah.
So 90% of my management is done completely by myself, whether it's you know, designing, creating, manufacturing. But I have a huge support system. They are awesome. I mean, it's my family, my parents, my husband, who is my better half, who completes the other half when I'm not done with one half. And then I have my 8-year-old princess, who's basically my youngest assistant, but my biggest help from cutting to labeling to packaging. That is her trademark.
So we have good team effort happening here.
Alhamdulillah.
Is that the trick with entrepreneurs? Is that what is the success point for home industry business, is to have that strong support network?
I think the support is a big thumbs up for us. But you know what, Zaira, in anything that you do, it's the passion in you. You've got to love what you do. Mom fashioned me to love what I do and to do small things with great love. So it's what you put into it. That's what you get out of it.
You know, when you say that, it reminds me so much of that hadith where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke about everything being associated with excellence and everything that we do, because that's part of our character and who we are. And I love listening to that, because when I see home industries like this and every single part that comes out of your home is filled with excellence, it just is so synonymous with who we're supposed to be as Muslims, alhamdulillah.
Of course.
Fatima, when that gift leaves your home, I mean, I know that I say this regularly on the show, we've been saying it for the last 3 years, that when you deal with home industries, please don't ask for discounts, because really you've got to respect the time and the effort that goes into it, that goes into putting these packages in. And these businesses work really, really hard to ensure that whatever comes out of their homes is perfect for you. So I always say, you know, if you don't go into shops asking for it, please don't ask home industries for it. I think many people don't understand, or rather don't appreciate the time and the effort that goes behind the scenes, because it's one thing to say, oh, this is the value of it. But I mean, the time and effort behind the scenes is really far extended than most of us would expect. And I know that I don't have the time to put something together so beautifully and that looks so perfect. So I truly appreciate how much goes in behind the scenes. But how much does it actually take out of you? And when you see it going to, you almost feel like a part of you has gone with it.
No, definitely. Look, Zaira, like I said, you put your heart and soul into somebody, whether it's something that's a small gift or whether it's something that's large. It takes time and effort. There's days that sometimes, you know, I just feel like crying because I feel that it's challenging me. But like I said, you know, the support system, and they're like, you can do it. And sometimes my clientele themselves have so much faith in me, and they said, you know what, it's carte blanche. So please go ahead. And we're always happy with the end result. So we have sleepless nights. Sometimes it's late nights. Sometimes it's early mornings. And obviously there's days where we need to meet a deadline. But what we need to do is we just need to work in sync. And when it leaves home, in many cases, you know, it's not the person that has ordered the gift from me that collects it. And that puts my mind more at an unease, because I'm only going to know about it once it's received in their hands. So yes, I mean, you know what, my heart skips a beat until I receive that phone call or I receive a message. And what's more about it is that sometimes it's not only the person that has purchased the gift from me, it's sometimes the recipient of the gift that would send me a message or phone me and say that, you know what, we received this gift from so-and-so and we're so happy with it. And alhamdulillah, you know, getting good feedback and from clientele and from those who've received it, it makes you smile. Basically, my heart smiles.
What has been the most difficult aspects of being an entrepreneur? I think, you know, there's so many people out there. This was a discussion we had yesterday where we said, you know, actually entrepreneurship is not cut out for everyone. There's certain qualities and characteristics that make you an entrepreneur. Some people are just not meant to be entrepreneurs, and it's not a bad thing because their skills lie elsewhere.
Yeah.
But in your field and from your experience, what has been the challenges of being an entrepreneur?
Look, I think the challenges is that it keeps you on your toes because you need to be in sync. You've got to know what's happening around you. You need to always produce fresh ideas, and sometimes fresh ideas can be within 2 to 3 days. I mean, it doesn't take months, and you've got to produce something that's new, that's fresh, and that's even eye-catching. So in terms of that, sometimes it takes a lot out of you, brain training. But I just feel that, like I said, put your best foot forward and take it from there.
And the highlights. What for you would be something that you would say to somebody who's thinking about doing this, who feels that they are creative, sitting somewhere else? How would you encourage them to say, just take the leap of faith?
Look, you'll never know until you try. And look, many times you would try and fail, but never fail to succeed in a way that you feel that you can do something. So I just feel that, you know what, there's always a chance for you, so why not try it out? If it works, alhamdulillah. If not, there is always another path for you.
Absolutely. You know, I think Fatima's mentioned something very pertinent. You know, so many times we're so afraid of failure that it holds us back from doing so much in our lives because we keep thinking, but what if I fail? What will everyone say? What will happen to me? And you reach a point in your life where you say, actually, so what if I fail? It's not the end of the world. It just means you get up and you try something else that works. And like Fatima said, you know, try it. You have nothing to lose.
Of course.
Absolutely. We're going to have to take a very quick ad break. When we come back, we talk about teacher appreciation gifts and get inspired as to how you can present that perfect gift to your teachers. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to this segment of the show. We're chatting to Fatima Bulbulia from Sweet Splendor to talk about entrepreneurship and edible gifting. Not just edible gifting, we spoke just a little bit off air now about different types of gifting we can do for our teachers around us, for the special people. You know, I think one of the most honorable jobs anyone can do is that of being a teacher, because no matter what you're doing in your life, there's always opportunities to teach others. And what better way than at the end of the year to show a little bit of appreciation for what they've done and the impact that they've made in your life. So Fatima's brought for us a few ideas to share with us, something that you can decide also. Have a look at what are ideas on teacher appreciation gifts. Fatima, let's go through it.
Okay, well, Zaira, you know what, like I said, these are gifts for teachers. You can use them also for your co-workers in corporate as well. So if you can say, I haven't really labeled many of them, there are a few that have a few labels on them. But you can use them to give to your friends, to your teachers, to your neighbor. Sometimes, you know, neighbors are leaving and are going somewhere else for the new year. So basically what we're starting off there is with, we always forgetting the male counterparts. You know what, so what I've done is I've taken a hat box and I folded it up with some happy socks, so there's some happy colors. And because it's a male counterpart, what I've done is I've included some of the encrusted burfi truffles to give it more of a rugged feel. So it's more masculine, I would say.
I love this idea. So it's something sweet, and then they've got a little gift to take with them.
That's the thing.
I think what's also nice is, you know, you've got your male teachers that you can give something like this to, and like you mentioned, corporate gifting is also a wonderful thing at this time of the year.
That's true. I mean, if it's a tennis coach, a swimming coach,
absolutely,
so that's perfectly good for them.
Perfect.
Secondly, we have something for somebody that's more in the kitchen that loves baking. So what we've done is we've taken some oven gloves and an oven mitten, and we've basically added in some cookies. So you have your double chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, this is a wonderful gift, and I love the fact that it's also something that can last a little bit longer. It's personalized as well, so it's something they get to take home for themselves.
No, that is true. That is true.
Perfect.
So next we have also something that's of kitchen essential. What we've done is we've created a little barrier here using a placemat, and we've included a little chalkboard to-do list, and basically a pot holder, and then we have some of our burfi truffles, which we've actually attached with some shiny stars, and obviously the burfi truffles are in a circular shape, and we've put it into a heart box. So basically
let me try and grab that up so that our viewers can have a look at that as well. And these are beautiful teacher appreciation gifts.
So it's a piece of you shaping me.
And then the burfi truffles are there. And again, this is something that's homemade, so we know exactly what's going into it.
Yes.
And
that
they're
is true.
fresh. Fantastic.
Perfectly fresh.
Perfect.
And then Zara, we have something that's much more elegant. It's more like a floral bouquet in a gift box. And what we've included in here is our burfi bars, something that we've just launched recently.
I think these are absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I love the fact that also, you know, this is a lovely gift also just to give, you know, staff that are working for you, because it's the flowers but something edible as well.
No, that is true. And Zara, what happens is that I've been getting a lot of orders for these, especially for people who are proposing.
Oh, yes,
so
of
it's
course.
something small before we tell mom and dad that, you know what, we're getting married. So basically this is just something small for a proposal. So yeah, the male counterparts are ordering some of these and giving them to their fiancés.
Beautiful. All right, and then what do we have up here in the front?
Look, Zara, basically in terms of gifting, what's really big is the acrylics, the perspex, and the laser cut boxes. So what we've done there is that we've taken a laser cut box, we've put in a little bit of florals, some blossoming buds, and we've added our tempting tea dippers to it. So basically this gift, Zaira, can be used as a box for something. I have to just show this
because these are so cute. This is what's inside each in the gifting as well. So this is something that, again, it's the edible part of it.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you've got the biscuits as dunkers.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. So tell us, so the thing is that with something like this, obviously you can go request any size that you'd like, or any kind of colors that you'd like to it, and you match the entire thing up.
Yeah, depending on what the client really needs. So sometimes if they want to play with a bit of color, we can go more bolder, depending on who the gift is for. Yes. So what we do is we can just work according to the color, the size, and what their requirements are.
Perfect, absolutely perfect.
And then we have something that's, well, I'll say it's really small, but obviously sometimes small things are always big.
Yes.
So what we've done is we've taken some midi cookie jars, and you can fill them with anything that you wish. I mean, it could be something that is just chocolate bonbons. It could be something like your nougat mix. The one that is covered up with a tulle, I've attached a little brooch to it. So there again, you can use the cookie jar personally and the brooch. And inside, I've put in some caramel popcorn, which is like a bonbon. The jar next to it is...
But I have to just say, what I love about that idea is it's something that mums can make with their kids and do at home. It's something that becomes so personal. But what I absolutely love about yours is how you take it up a little extra notch and make it look so elegant with the brooch, the tulle, and it becomes a lot more personalized as well.
Yes, yes. Zara, next to it we do have something that's slightly a bit casual. It's also a midi chocolate cookie jar, but we've included in there an Asian Oriental mix, which is a fun mix of your China fruit.
Yes.
So yeah, basically you could you know, use whatever you want to. You could even put some chocolate chip cookies in there. You can expand your, you know, whatever you wish to put inside, you can do that.
I love the little personalized messages that you've put onto the bottles as well, because that also makes a difference for somebody just getting it. It's not something that's just bought off the shelf. It's something that's been personalized for them.
No, Zara, that's what we actually love to do, is that, you know what, when we gift in somebody, we want them to know that, you know, we value you. So we would add a personal touch to it.
Absolutely.
And then, yes, lastly, we have something that's really elegant. I love it because, like I said, acrylics are big, and for ladies who love their flowers, and especially roses, this is a beautiful rose acrylic box which stores in your fresh flowers. And we've attached some of our recently made burfi popsicles, which we've launched about a few months back. So we've attached these with the blossoming buds into the acrylic organizer.
I absolutely love the fact that in each one, your edible gifts are so different, from the burfi popsicles to the burfi logs here, to the burfi truffles, to the biscuits that look so beautiful on these sticks that you can dip. Do you never run out of inspiration?
No, you do. Sometimes you do. You just, I think, need a bit of support and, get up and let's just do this.
I have to also just say that if you actually look at these, and I'm looking at all of this very close up, they are so neat and they look absolutely perfect that I don't even know if I want anyone to be cutting into it. It just looks absolutely perfection, absolute perfection.
Sarah, you know what? We strive for perfection, but there's never ever perfection. There's always only progress. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to move forward from where we've started, and every time present something new.
And I think you definitely do that. I mean, I'm sitting here and looking at this and looking at the number of ideas that we can gift people for, and I'm just thinking offhand, oh my goodness, I think maybe I should send something else here. Maybe I should send something else there. I have to ask you, are gifts and the choices of gifts seasonal, or is it something that you keep moving with, saying, oh, this is what's in season at the moment, next season it's something different, or do you find something that works for you and say, this is always going to be there?
Look, Sarah, it does work seasonal, but then again, I would really go back to the client, asking them what would they want, because sometimes something that's seasonal or something that's trending doesn't work for them.
Yes.
Because in terms of who they're gifting it to or the occasion that they're having it for, because in terms of our gifting, look, we have a gifting range, but on the other side of it also, we produce edibles for occasions and things like that. So just depending on what the clientele entails and what do they want. So always it's a one-on-one. Whether we have in some WhatsApp chats, late at night, so please tell me what do you want in terms of the color. So basically at the end of the day, what we want to do is we just want our client to be happy, whether it's seasonal or whether it's trending. It all depends on the client's choice.
But that for me is what I absolutely love, because I think you've personalized it so much to an extent that you're matching what the client wants to what your vision is. And that's why you said earlier as well that nothing that leaves your home will ever be the same, because it's always something different every single time.
Of course. No, that is true. And you know what, like I said, no two gifts are the same, because no two people are the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that your daughter is your biggest assistant and your biggest helper in your place. So I have to ask you also, how difficult or how easy is it to kind of also just let go and let her do what she needs to do on her creative side?
Well, so there's days where I can't handle it, and then there's some days where I obviously give her leeway and let her enjoy her own time of preparing things. And somehow the other, she has a passion also for it. I'm not too sure whether it's a hereditary thing or whether it's just because she sees her mom doing this. Zara, while you are talking about her, in fact, the name of my small home-based business, Sweet Splendor, is a little bit shared from her because of the meaning of her name. Zanira actually means splendor.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
because I've introduced, sweet indulgence, so what I've done is I've taken the sweet and obviously I've taken a bit of the meaning of her name and I've put it together. So that's how we have the name of Sweet Splendor.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Alhamdulillah. And that makes it so much more personal.
Of course.
And something that will always stay with you.
Yeah, of course. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So now I have to ask you this. We've gone from having burfis that have been scooped out, and actually no, we've gone from burfis just being laid out and then we cut it up to burfis being scooped and then burfis going very, very small, and now we're looking at this new trend of edible gifting and we're seeing burfis in every possible shape and size. How have people responded to that? How easy is that to do, or how difficult is that in terms of these edible giftings also lasting? Because I think I can hear like many of the older people going, but how long is this going to be? Is this going to be okay to be putting into a gift?
Yeah, sometimes I think to myself, if my grannies were alive, they'd probably think, oh my word, what have you done to our original sweetmeats? But Zara, what I've done is actually in most of my edibles, what I've tried to do is I've tried to keep the originality of the thing, because you need to know the main ingredient of what you're putting forth. So what I've done is I haven't tried to incorporate too many things. I've still kept it to basics, but I've tried to make it look elegant. So in terms of the burfi, the baklava, the Krukenbush towers, I've tried to keep the basics that is in there, and we've used some elements to spice it up and make it look beautiful and elegant. So if you're going to bite into anything, you're still going to get the traditional taste of everything.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And I think, that's the bottom line, is that while many of us want to know that it looks amazing, we still want to also know that what we're eating tastes amazingly good as well. So I think you've managed to balance the two very, very well. Fatima, for Sweet Splendor, what is the way forward? Where do you see yourself over the next few years or over the next few months?
Look, Zaira, the possibilities are endless. And we all know that there is always a better tomorrow for us. I just pray that, our tomorrows are more beautiful and more blessed than our yesterdays.
Alhamdulillah. I think the one thing with Fatima is you've never met anybody more humble, alhamdulillah. And I keep saying to her that, and with many of the home businesses out there as well, that it's not about showing off, but it's about also shining your light to say, I'm really good at this and I'm doing really well at it, because it also inspires other people to look at you and to say, oh my goodness, maybe I can do the same thing. And I think, when I listen to you speak and I listen to you being so humble about where you are and where you want to be, it's really inspiring for me. I watch that and I think, wow, may Allah grant you every success in everything that you do, always, inshallah.
And may Allah make me as you have envisioned me to be.
No, absolutely. Fatima, it's been such a pleasure to have you in studio with us. I think you've given us so many ideas, just appreciation gifts, not just for teachers, but for family members, for staff, for colleagues, neighbors, everyone around us. I think it's a year of being thankful. And as Muslims, we know that if we want to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to be thankful to people around us. And this is a beautiful way to show thanks. And gifting also ties in with building of muhabbat. We know this from our religion. So what a beautiful way to tie it in, where the gifts that you can give can be tied in with excellence and beauty and perfection, and this is something that anybody would want to receive, because there's so much of love that's put into it. I think Fatima has described it very beautifully when she talks about how much love goes into each one. There's beautiful ideas here. No doubt if you follow her Instagram page, she'll be able to put you in touch and have a look at other things that she's doing. I have asked her already if she couriers, and that you need to discuss with her, and let's push a little bit to make sure that everybody around the country starts getting this. And I think as an entrepreneur, as a female entrepreneur, we take our hats off to you as well, because we know it's not an easy industry to be in, but with women like you there, we know we can only move forward.
Jazakallah khair. Thanks.
It's an absolute pleasure having Fatima join us in studio today. That's Fatima Bulbulia from Sweet Splendor. Stay tuned. When we come back, we have another exciting guest on air. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back after that ad break. While we're talking about appreciation gifts and we're talking about things we can give to others, there's always time to also take a little bit of time out and look after ourselves. One of my next guests is Riaz Hattia from My Go Juices. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about, making sure we cleansed, making sure we're eating healthy. I think that's been the theme throughout the year on our show about holistic living and making sure we find a good balance in our lives. There's so many options available for us, but are we making the right choices? Are we choosing the right things for us? In our second segment, Riaz will be showing us how to make one of these juices for ourselves. But before that, let's get to know the man behind the company. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Riaz, it's such a pleasure to have you in studio with us. I know we have tried to get you previously, and I'm glad we finally got you in studio. So welcome to ITV.
Jazakallah khair. It's a pleasure to be here.
Riaz, how did you get started in juicing business? I mean, this is something we are seeing a lot more. It's trending a lot more. It's become very popular with a lot of juice cleansers going on. People are selling diets based on juices. But how did you get involved? Because you've been involved for quite some time now in this business.
Yeah, so I've been involved, for about a year or so, selling the juice as a business. But before that, I've been in this for about 5 years now. And really it was, I work in a corporate environment and you live the stress and, you get sick. You don't look after yourself, right? Just because you don't have the time. So, I was really sick. I was very sick and I went to the doctor many times, trying to get healthy. So I was really overweight. I was pre-diabetic, all the usual things which people tend to get when they don't look after themselves. And I said, enough is enough. And I did some research. I went to the internet, I Googled the father of juicing, and I found out about this stuff. And just the power of raw fruits and vegetables and the amount of nutrients locked away inside of that. So the question I get asked a lot is, well, why juice?
Yes.
And why not eat the stuff?
Yeah.
Well, can you eat 10 portions of fruit and veg a day?
Unlikely.
Unlikely,
Yeah.
exactly. So why not juice it, right? And I did the juicing, but I came home one day with a box full of fruits and veggies, and my wife was like, I'm not going to cook that. Juicer under my arm, and I started the process of cleansing, right, which was to go on a juice fast for about 10 days or so. And I've never looked back since. So I did that for about, it must have been about 2 months, I think. And I learned a lot during that time, and I got better. You know, so.
That's what I was going to ask you. You mentioned that you were at a point where you weren't well. We know the amount of stress that many of us take on in our work environments, and especially living in the cities. I think it's ridiculous amounts of stress. Our quality of life is somewhat reduced because you're either in meetings, you're on the road, everything is 20 or 30 minutes away, even if it's around the corner. Everything takes time. How did you find that this made an impact on who you are? Because very often many of us go, we don't even have time to actually put things together into a blender. Everything needs to be quick and fast, and you walk into a store, you take it and you run.
Yeah, and look, initially it was a bit of a struggle because of the cleaning part, right? But when you look at the benefit, and I think that's what drives, it's the benefit that you get at the end of the day, knowing that you're getting better all the time. Your body, your cells are growing, your cells are healing, you know, and I found a passion for health right there and there.
Do you think your recovery and your health and well-being was linked directly to the way you ate then?
It definitely was. There was no other reason. You know, I was on a lot of medication. I went to the doctor, you know, about 2 or 3 months after I'd been on a juice fast, and he said to me, oh, what are you doing? Your blood levels show everything's normal. I said, this is what I've been doing. And he had an opinion, which, you know, but he's a doctor after all. So
Yes.
it does work. Juicing does work. It's not the same as eating fruits and veggies, but it does work.
So we talk about eating these 10 portions of fruit and veggies in your day. How do we balance out in terms of what are even the right fruits to have? Because fruits also have their own amount of fructose in it, natural sugars in it. How do we balance which are the right ones to be having? Because, you know, at the end of the day, we also talk about moderation. Just, you know, doing things in moderation, finding a balance. And yet, even when it comes to this, we still can't find a balance.
You know, someone sent me an article. It was a hadith actually of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and it was about how to go about eating, right? And we know we need to eat in moderation, right? And I think that's the key. So by no means am I a perfectionist. I can't claim to be, you know, a vegan person who only eats healthy, because I'm not that person.
Yes.
I have my meat dishes when I want to, but I come back to the stuff, and I know it's available, I know it's there, and I can pop it in my juices in the morning and in the evening. So it's about creating the balance for yourself, and you've got to almost pull the stops and say, okay, I've binged a bit today, and I've been at Halal Goods Market, and I've tried everything here, so let's do the responsible thing tomorrow. And let's do a juice cleanse, or you know, let's just get the fruits and the veggies into the system. Okay,
so let's break that down a bit, because now I need to ask you some technical work. In terms of us having these portions, how often should we be saying, for example, we're taking a juice and having it?
Right. So health standards say you need to have, about 2 years ago, I think it was, 5 to 7 portions of fruit and veg in your diet every day for you to maintain, you know, a healthy state. Right? That's gone up to 10. Portions now. So I don't know why, but it's 10 portions. So if you look at that, you know, you cannot eat 10 portions of fruits and veg. It's very difficult. So again, why not juice it, right? And I think that is the one thing that I've learned is to cover the full spectrum. So to answer the question, you know, you've got your greens, you've got your oranges, you've got your yellows, and all of those things contain nutrients, and it's different types of nutrients, vitamins, etc. So you want to have the full spectrum, right, of those nutrients in your diet daily. So a green juice in the morning, you know, a red one in the evening, an orange one during the day. You know, it keeps your energy levels up. It's busy helping your body to detox and to cleanse at the same time. Your skin gets clearer. You know, you've just got the energy, your mind, your concentration works better. And then there's blending as well, so that's also in the mix, you know, and we'll talk about that maybe a bit later.
Yes.
But there's a difference between juicing and blending, so it has its place. But that's that's the thing. You have these different nutrients available to you, locked into those fibers in those fruits and veggies, which you want to get out.
Yes.
And you want to make it bioavailable to the body. And that's the thing. So the bioavailability part is, you know, it's to do with how readily available that stuff is to your blood, to your cells, etc. Now, if you take this apple for example, right? It's fibrous. So when you juice this, you're basically extracting the juice from the fibers in the apple. That's when it goes in the juicer, right? When you're blending the juice and the fiber all together. Now when you extract the juice, that stuff goes straight into your bloodstream. So within 15 minutes, it's in your stomach and it's into your bloodstream. So the juicer, in effect, is like your stomach. So you're giving your digestive system, which is your teeth and your mouth, a break, and that's what we need. So.
And then obviously this is something that we need for our young kids to be having as well, because, you know, I have this constant discussion on the show, and we have it all the time off air as well, about the fact that all our foods are so processed. Everything that we're putting into our kids' bodies is toxic, it's processed, it's nothing that's natural or as close to raw and natural as possible, and we're doing a huge disservice to our kids, because we're seeing an increase in attention deficit disorders, we're seeing an increase in concentration issues, increase in hormonal issues, we're seeing it starting much earlier on in ages, purely because I think of the content of our food that we're presenting to our kids.
Absolutely, and there's been so much study and research gone into this. And I mean, it starts from grassroots level, and literally the grass that feeds the cow, for example, that stuff's been modified, right, to get the most out of the cow. And it's a commercial process and so on. The cows themselves, right, the meat, it's been modified in some way. And it's those carcinogenics and those, you know, those things that they add to the meat and even the milk these days, that it's just not good for us. And so, you know, we've got to try and reverse those effects. And it's because of those things that you're seeing this uptake in diseases, and in kids especially, you know, concentration levels are lower, you know, and you ask, well, why? And, well, do you eat your fruits and veggies? And it's like, no. Okay, well, then juice it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was also reading up about Patrick Holford's low glycemic index, and there's a huge push also to ensuring that we have the right foods. It's not just about making sure you feed foods, but also knowing the right time to feed foods and the right kind of foods to give. So, for example, a banana in the morning is not a good idea for children, but a banana during sports time is fantastic.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do now is we have to take a very quick ad break. When we come back, Riaz is going to show us a few juicing ideas, and we'll talk about pairing up the right fruits and veggies to make sure you can present something that's tasty but also wholesome and good for your family. So stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to the last segment of the show. We're chatting to Riaz Hattia from My Go Juices. He's telling us everything that we need to know about ensuring we have a balanced life, watching what we eat and making sure it's things that are wholesome for us in order for us to be able to live a holistic life, a relaxed life and a balanced lifestyle. Very often what we put into our body affects us on so many levels, not just on a physical level, but it affects us emotionally, it affects us mentally. We talk about this all the time when we say, you know, be careful of your emotions even when you're cooking, because you're putting that and you're feeding that to your family. So Riaz is chatting to us about finding that balance through juicing and about making sure our bodies are cleansed. Riaz, I'm looking at these beautiful colors and they just look like they're summer ready.
Yeah, they are summer ready. So, you know, we've got the greens, the oranges, the pinks, the reds, the yellows over there. I like to have a green in the morning. I think, you know, it's the full green spectrum in there.
Yeah.
So that
everyone talks about green juice.
Yeah.
So everyone says, you know, you've got to make sure you have a green juice every day. Tell us what goes into a green juice that makes this so good. And I have to say, this is probably one of the only green juices I've seen that looks so wholesome and full.
Yeah. So it is full. It's full of nutrients. That one's got, You know, it's got an apple in it, it's got kale, it's got cucumber, it's got has got a good cooling effect, you know, on the body from the inside. It's got celery, which is just so good for a whole bunch of things, right? Mood as well. It has a calming effect on the body, and then it's got the lemon and the ginger, you know, which is the stuff that you want to add into, you know, give it a bit of the flavor at the back, and the citrusy from the lemon as well. I mean, that just gives you that additional bioavailability in the body. Yeah.
And how long do these things actually last? Because I mean, you know, very often we worry about, you know, we're going to buy the juice. If no one drinks it, it tends to go off, especially with fresh fruits and veggies. How long do these actually last, and how long can we store it for?
So, you know, the best things in life, you've got to have it fresh.
Yes.
And it's no different for the juices. They're raw, and you're basically consuming it in its raw form. There's no preservatives in there, right? There's no added sugar. There's nothing added to this juice except for the raw product. So it's not going to last you like a juice on the store shelf would, because it doesn't have the preservatives, right? So the maximum you're gonna keep this for in the fridge is for about 5 days.
Okay.
In the freezer though, and these bottles are very freezable, they'll last up to a month.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. That makes a big difference for many of us.
Yeah.
Tell us what we're going to be doing today.
Okay, so what I've decided to do is something slightly different. So, and at the same time, I just wanted to demonstrate the differences between the machines. So, you know, sometimes people call that a juicer, and guys, that's not a juicer. Okay, that's a blender. But this is a juicer that you're looking at here, and this is a cold press juicer. So why it's called cold press is because it uses pressing technology which is cold. In other words, there's no spinning of the blades that heat up the fruits and the veggies in the process of extraction. So, you know, we spoke about this before. You know, you've got an apple which has got a lot of fiber in it, natural fructose, pectin. It's got soluble fiber as well. I don't know if we mentioned that. And when you put this in the juicer, basically what's going to happen, let's just demonstrate this. Okay, so I use my hands. If you've got a juicer at home, use the pusher. Okay,
perfect.
so
and then I actually remember this from when we were growing up. I remember with my mum and them that orange juices were always made fresh like this.
Absolutely, and I mean, that's the, you know, that's the wholesome days which we seem to have forgotten.
Yes.
But here comes your fiber. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. But that's your fiber, which comes out on the one side, and you know, the juice comes out on the other side. So that's the simple technology around slow juicing or cold press juicing. You're getting the fiber out on the one side, and you're getting the juice out on the other side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in some raw spinach, and this is some lovely baby spinach from Woolies. And we're just going to boil that up and throw it in there.
So we've got the apples, we've got the spinach, and what else are we putting in here?
And next I'm going to put in some fresh pineapple. Okay. So pineapple, I mean, oh, what a great fruit.
A nice little fresh taste to this as well.
Very, very, very fresh taste. It gives the sweetiness and the fruitiness as well.
And what's lovely about this also is about using fresh fruits and juices that are in season, because once you're using things that are seasonal, it's also far healthier for you as well.
Absolutely.
Try not to freeze your fruits and veggies, especially the fresh ones. Is the fiber not also important for us, what's coming out that we need to be having, or is this also being absorbed as it's being juiced?
Yeah. So look, there is a little bit of soluble fiber with things like apples, carrots, etc. So yes and no. You do need fiber in the system. We know that, but you know, there's so much locked away in that fiber, which you won't necessarily get when you're eating it with your mouth. So we're using the juicer to kind of get the maximum benefit out of the fruit or the veggie. And you are getting a little bit of soluble fiber. So people say you're not getting any fiber. That's not entirely true. You are getting a little bit of fiber in the juice as well. And our juices are developed in such a way that there is always a little bit of fiber in there,
That's
soluble fiber.
And now we've also just added a cucumber to that. So the recipe so far has been the apple, spinach leaves, pineapple, and cucumber.
And now we're going to throw in a lemon.
A lemon?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
This is a bit of lemon in there. You've got to have the lemon.
He says a little bit of lemon and then he throws the whole lemon in. So it's a little more than a little lemon.
It's going to be great, I promise. Okay, so
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do, so that's it for the juicer, right?
Are these juices still available? Because I don't know when last I've ever seen a juicer, because everybody now that says they're juicing, everybody's using the blenders.
These are available. People, many people don't know about them.
Yeah.
Many people buy the other variant, which is the...
Yes, all the different makes of them. Yes.
There's different makes. And if people ask me, what's the best juicer to buy? I will tell them it's the one that's on your counter.
I like it.
Because that's the one you're going to use, right?
Not the one that sits in your cupboard.
Exactly.
That you take out only now and again when you want to show your friends how healthy you are.
Okay.
That was quick and easy.
So, you can look at that. That's just pure goodness.
Fantastic.
That is just so pure, so fresh. And just have a smell.
Oh, it actually is. I can smell that. It's really amazing.
It's fresh.
Riaz, I have to ask you, while you are busy with this as well, how do you choose what flavors you put together? You've put in pineapple and lemon into something with cucumber and spinach and apple. How do you choose which flavors are well paired together? If somebody wants to start at home, making something fresh for their family every morning, how do they know where to even start?
So look, there is a bit of science to this, but let's not let science kill the moment.
Yes.
Right? There is a bit of science to it. So I've learned from seasoned juices on what fruits and veggies to combine to give you specific outcomes or benefits. And the greens for detoxing. So these are fruits and veggies which you want to have for a good detox, for example, get the detox system going. But there's the art factor to this as well. So there's a bunch of stuff which you can add in here, preferable to your taste buds. And as you go along, people usually start with more apple, something more sweet in the juice, and that's because our palates haven't been seasoned for fruits. I cannot eat a cucumber, a whole cucumber. I just can't.
This is an easy way to do it. I know we're stuck for time, but I have to ask you this. This is something I haven't been able to ask yet. With so many people talking about detoxing and juicing and making sure we do this juice detox, how often are we supposed to do that? Is this something everybody should be doing at least once a month? What are the benefits of it?
So once a month is really a good way to keep your wellness, keep your balance going, right? I started off quite hectically, put it that way. I did it for a month and I did it solid for a month. The idea is to give your digestive system a break. So go for a day, 1 day cleanse. If you're really just starting out, trial that out, see how it goes from there, and find your feet. And the benefits are amazing. So you might feel really lousy on that first day because you've got so much toxin buildup in the system. And the stuff wants to come out, so you'll get headaches, and your body's telling your brain, "I need food." You just got to get past that. Or there's easier way. So what you could do is, before you do the juice fast, just stay off some of those bad things. And it's logic, right? Fries. I won't say coffee, because coffee is not really a bad thing. It's the stuff we add to it.
Yeah.
So. But you would get coffee withdrawals if you're going on a long fast. And there's certain other things which you obviously want to stay away. Meat, for example, stay away from that. And ease into it. And I think that's the thing, you got to ease into a juice fast. And then, again, at the end of it, ease out of it. So start, ramping up your daily diet slowly. So perfect. While we're all looking to balance our lives and finding that perfect thing in moderation, this is the way to go. So Riaz says we've got to do this at least once a month for the wellness of our bodies, for the wellness of our family, and let's start taking care of ourselves as well. There's ample opportunities, there's ample things that we can put together to make sure we've got it healthy, but also really good, tasty for us as well. And if you're in studio with us, you can smell this green juice. It's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to try it. Riaz, awesome.
Before we close up for the show, how are we able to get hold of you? Are people calling you in?
Yeah, mygo.co.za, that's where
Fantastic.
we are. You can
So we
find
look
us
forward to
there.
that.
Perfect.
Fantastic. So we're going to be closing off the show and having a sip of this. Please go ahead as we close off. It's been a fabulous time joining you on it this week again and sharing with you appreciation gifts, sharing with you juicing ideas and ways of being able to just bring it through together for us as well. While I go and enjoy this green juice to kickstart my morning, I have no doubt that all of us are going to be finding a balance in our lives and taking more responsibility and care for ourselves, because while appreciation gifts are to take care of those around us, sometimes we also need to appreciate ourselves and make sure that we full so that we can be able to look after all those around us. This is Riaz Hattia on air with us today. I think that looks absolutely perfect. I'm going to definitely be enjoying this. Shukran so much for joining us on air. We look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to make sure you eat healthy and eat well as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
من زينة الإيمان أن السلام